Okay, so he got in that overflow right in front of me. I mean, my dogs were right behind his sled, maybe 5 feet.
Myron
And his
Inksman
dog
recounts his
stopped.
epic finish against George Atla of Husia in the 1983 Kuskokwim 300 sled dog race. It was the second closest finish in distance racing history.
One of his dogs jumped over the top of my team into the entangled the team so that they neither team could go then because that now they're tangled.
Inksman is the founder of the 300-mile race.
Bethel was not a mushing hotbed at that time. All mushing was in Fairbanks and in the Mat-Su Valley.
Myron was on the back of a dog sled on the Iditarod when he had this idea. You know, you have a lot of time to think on the back of a sled, and your thought was that we could do this in Bethel.
The course would follow an old postal route along the Kuskokwim River, stopping at many villages along the way and turning around at Aniak.
We were all crazy back then. Sure, we can do it. We just had to convince a few people.
The founders secured funding from Adkins Steel Company in Bethel.
Wrote him a thank you note for pledging the money for the race, and then I said, you know, if you could send the money right now, it sure help.
The first race in 1980 had a field of 21 mushers, 4 of whom who scratched. Back then, the course took nearly 3 days to complete.
It was a real camp out in those early days. Nobody was in a hurry. You ate at every single village.
Rick Swenson won the first race, taking home $3,500. Compare that to 2015's $20,000 jackpot.
A lot of people in those early years really thought that they thought that maybe the K300 would only last just, a couple of years.
The race was a complete success, attracting over 50 racers some years. In 1989, they added the Bogus Creek 150, and in 1991, the Akiak Dash.
We started those two races so that it would encourage more local sprint mushers to think about the Kuskokwim 300.
In the early days, simply finishing the race was first and foremost in mushers' minds.
And it was in blinding blizzards where you're spending all night and trying to find trails.
In honesty, it's a lot tougher race than it seems. And the reason it is a little deceptive is now the folks that are doing it have a lot more skill and experience and equipment that we didn't have.
The historic trail has been graced by the sleds of many legendary racers.
He was the first real big name to sign up for our race, and I remember telling KYUK at the time that now that Joe Reddington has signed up, we have some legitimacy. We're an actual race, and so he was the first guy to actually put his name on the line, whose name was recognizable throughout Alaska. And we've had Rick Swenson, Susan Butcher, both of whom are, famous mushers. Jerry Allison was a famous musher.
Libby Riddles, Joe Garney,
Emmett Peters. Warner Vent was an early star of the Iditarod who came out here.
For some, finishing the K300 is a milestone accomplishment for mid-distance racers, but to all, the tradition is set in snow by paw prints across the Kuskokwim. With LKSDE Journalism, this is Molly Shavings signing off.